Good morning. Timestamp. It is January 2nd, 2026. It is exactly it is exactly 7:08 a.m. Um, I just got up 20 minutes ago. Only at Leonardo Station can you go to sleep during an invasion of time and wake up to an android invasion. Yeah, we're on Tom Baker. Yeah. It's a Sarah Jane kind of day, apparently. Can't can't really go wrong with that. Got a lot of little things done yesterday. Got my one brick. Nothing major, just a lot of little things. Dishes, laundry, sweeping, mopping. Oh, had an employee a long time ago who, after about a month, I was running the night crew at, I'll say at Home Depot. Had an employee that I could never get to sweep their area. You're supposed to sweep, if you're doing plumbing, if you're putting away plumbing, you sweep the 2 or 3 aisles of plumbing. That's kind of part of your wrap up for the night. Just take one of the big push brooms and run down the aisles, make sure you get up all the debris. And I could never get him to sweep his area at the end of the night. This went on for like a month. I had to have other people cover for him. And I finally asked him, I'm like, my dude, why don't you use room and use on floor? What is the deal? And he looked at me and said, because that's bitch work. And I said, exactly. That's what was going on in my head. I'm like, okay, I'm going to need you to break it down to me and define that a little better. Huh? He's like, that's a job for a woman. And I had an uncharacteristic moment for me in that, because I normally don't talk this way. I really don't. But I looked at him and I said, well, I'm in charge. So that kind of makes you my bitch. And if you don't sweep your floor every night until you no longer work here, I'm going to write you up every night until you learn how to use a broom. Because again, in this scenario, you are in fact my bitch. And you will sweep the fucking floor. Because I'm not going to have other people cover for you. Because you think that's woman's work. And he looked at me. And he took the broom out of my hand and quietly walked away. And he started sweeping the floor. So there are times when I am doing some daily stuff around here. Work is work, people. Work is work. I do not agree with the philosophy that a woman's job is to make babies and sandwiches. That's not. I've known way too many strong women. I've known way too many women that were in fact tougher and stronger than some of the men folk around me to adhere to that philosophy. I grew up watching Star Trek, man. It's just the sexism, the racism, it's just not in my brain. But there are times when I am doing chores that might be considered housewifery that I reflect back on that conversation and the just audacity / WTF-ness of it. You know? It's a bitch word. Oh. Okay. Probably not the conversation to have with me at 5:30 in the morning after a long day, you know? No, that's the wrong answer. I don't know why I felt like sharing that. Just, right? A piece of my life. We are finishing off a pot of Harry and David breakfast blend, which, cool. I got a huge amount of it, and it is a very good standard coffee, like as like a house coffee. So I was making a pot before bed last night. Yes, I can drink coffee and go right to bed. Had people ask me about that. And I was like, yeah, I'll do some breakfast blend. Still doing 2-3 cigars a day. Health check. Still got the tightness in the chest. I know I had some, I can't remember them, but I know I had some crazy ass dreams. I didn't wake up frantic, but woke up with that feeling like I had been like running, you know, a tense dream kind of thing. Not sure why, what. I can't recall them. I remembered a few of them recently. And some of them were pretty bizarre. But I don't know what I was dreaming about last night. Got that silver white streak there. I have to admit, I like it. Got a little Reed Richards action going on, you know. If you know, you know. My girl should be coming over today. Got to go to the post office. I've got three packages to drop off, which is a good problem to have. Selling things pretty steadily. It's nice. Kind of pulling back on the spending a little bit, because I feel like we're in Act 3, you know, of a rather ugly family drama stage play. I feel like we're in Act 3. Just not sure how many pages there are left in the script. So I'm going to start watching my footing a little bit more as we continue to try and clean, excavate. There's still stuff missing. I don't know. I found a thumb drive yesterday that had, in PDF form, and I am both surprised and also not surprised that this thing exists, but it's from the car dealership where my parents bought the Toyota. They've got a Toyota Highlander, I think it is. It's one of the bigger SUVs. But the thumb drive has on it like all the repair notifications, the title, stuff like that. It's actually from the dealership. So I'm guessing at time of sale, they were handed the thumb drive, and that, instead of like paper copies of this is what you just signed, they were handed a PDF of this is all your information. I found that, which that could be useful because I know there's still a paper car title around here somewhere. Um, Jiminy is my ring bearer. I know there's still a paper title for the various vehicles around. The PDF is probably meant just to be a backup. I mean, the state would issue a paper copy. All of that is still missing, as well as some smaller heirloomy things. I mentioned this before, like pocket watches, stuff like that. That was supposed to go to the grandkids. Much like the X-Files, it's out there. I don't know where. The search goes on. Oh, that's good. It's not as glamorous as some of the other coffees that we have, but just as like a house coffee. It is not, like hospital coffee or something like that. Mud. So yeah, I should be doing a post office run. My girl did send me a frantic email. Well, she sent me a text to tell me to check my email. And I checked my email. And someone was selling a Gil Weber, which is a Monster High character. He's, speaking of my parents, he's a fish person. He's like a merfolk of some sort. And actually, I might be able to show you. Yeah, I can. Yay. Okay, his first name is Gillington, but he goes by Gil Weber. Yeah, there we go. So he's basically a merfolk. He's got, like webbing on the hands and feet. She's got a Gil, but he's in rough shape. And we got him in a big mixed lot, whatnot. Backstory briefly on this. I had gotten a lot that had him and a couple other characters. It was like one of Claudine's younger sisters. I think it was Howleen. I know. And there were like two other dolls in the group that she already had, but she didn't have the little sister, and she didn't have Gil with. This is the important thing. This is where finding accessories can be really, really damn tricky. I can get him in there. Here he is. So you can see him. He has like a fish tanky thing on his head. He has like a almost astronaut helmet fish tank thing on his head. We didn't even know he was supposed to have that because he's an older doll. When did you come out? 2013, according to the listing. We've seen some, like, in box that are going for over $100. And she doesn't necessarily want in box. She's going to pull it out of the box anyway, so it's not a big deal. But we didn't even know until we saw that listing, and that was like 2 months ago, that he normally has the fishbowl thing. Every other listing, it was a missing thing. It wasn't, in the lot. So we just didn't know he needed that it was part of his costume or whatnot. So I bought that lot, got a really good price for it. I think I paid like $55 for it with the Gil, the Howleen, and like the two other dolls. Paid $55 for it, and we waited and waited and waited, and after about probably 3 weeks, I sent the guy an email saying, would you like to put that in a box and send it to me? Nicely. And I got no response, and this dragged on for another week or two, to where I finally had to basically send a note to eBay saying, my wife would really like what we bought. Can you encourage this guy to send it, please? And like 2 days later, the lot got canceled. I don't know what happened between eBay and the seller, but the sale apparently went through. And I kept an eye on the seller too. I kept like pulling up his listings and whatnot and taking a look to see if he had just really screwed up, forgot to ship it out, and decided he was just going to relist it. Like, oh, it's not available. Oh, it's relisted. Try and like quietly sneak away and avoid bad feedback from me or something like that. But it never reappeared. I watched that for 2-3 weeks. So yeah, I got a text yesterday with check your email. So I checked my email, and she sent me a link saying, I found a Gil with it. So I hopped on eBay real quick. I mean, I've always got a window open anyway, but I hopped on real quick and snagged him. Hopefully it gets shipped out. But with shipping and everything, I paid $35 for it. So again, the other one, the Gil, the Howleen, and the two other, I forget what it was. It was like a Frankie Stein and something else that she already had, but we could have resold them. That was like $55 total, which would have been a much better deal. Because at that point we're paying like $12 per doll, and the Gil, I just paid $35 for him. You know what I mean? So clearly, the $55 was a great deal, but it was not to be. And I think I got her a Howleen suit through another way too, because she's trying to get the younger siblings. So that happened. So hopefully, it looks like he has his whole outfit. Pants, shirt, and shoes. Shoes can be a tough find. I already knew that, but helping her with the Monster High, it's definitely reawakened my understanding of how tricky it can be to find accessories. But yeah, hopefully Gil with Fishbowl shows up. That would be swell. But for the most part, I'm trying to pull the brakes on a lot of our more over-the-top spending. We should be okay. I've still got, stuff stockpiled and all that. But it's that moment in the horror movie when the incidental music has gone down to a 5 in the background, and you just kind of hear the wind whistling a little bit. You're walking outside, that kind of, it's like, we're about to go for a jump scare. And this could be a jump scare leading into that big chase with the final girl. Yeah, I'm the final girl. And Kelly is the plucky boyfriend of the final girl. It's sort of role reversal in this one. Because, sometimes the boyfriend makes it out too. Maybe with a limp or something, but, she's got a gash on her arm, he's got a twisted ankle, Well, we turn that off. Hex, I don't know exactly why you choose to stop and stretch in front of me while I'm carrying a pot of hot water. I filtered, so now I gotta the chore of making coffee. Oh, no, not that. Not sure what I'm gonna do flavor-wise. I don't think having too many options is a real problem. I guess some people think that. I like having too many options. It's very liberating after not having any. Janus! Janus! What's up? I'm clearly his pick. I got a Janus and a Hex kind of swarming me. Not shawarma, that's different. I can tell my kid made food because there's all kinds of slime and debris on the stovetop. It's kind of the surface we have at the moment. Dedicated surface to actually like prepare food. And it always gets smudged up. Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's so low. I hope Publix does another BOGO on this. I got probably like 2 or 3 pots in there yet. It's really quite yummy. But yeah, I've been known to get coffee at Publix. I don't like shopping at Publix typically. They do funding and stuff for people that I don't like. And they're usually overpriced to hell and back. When they do BOGOs, I can kind of do a little bit more guilt-free because, honestly, this is going to sound petty and mean, but I don't think they make a lot of money or any money on BOGOs with coffee. So, if I'm going to get something and you're not going to make any money, I don't like you. Yeah, I've got like 8 pot of coffee there. Sadness. This is really good. Wasn't sure what I was going to think about it, but wish I got more now, again. But it's okay. We are not exactly running out of options again. I've got 20 coffees in there. All right, you two. Yeah, I'm just trying to walk. Just trying to walk, fellas. Thank you. Wrestling and playing right in the pathway. And of course, yes, the solution is make the pathway bigger. Working on that. We'll be doing a lot of that this weekend. Because I think post office is the only real destination we must do. No, we have to go to her bank, drop off some cash there. They're quick. They're not that far away, so that's total maybe a half an hour out of our life. That's okay. They're playing. Oi! Speaking of. Janus just put his foot right in Hex's mouth. It's like on his back, kind of defending himself, so to speak. They're play wrestling. And he just went and put his foot right in Hex's mouth. Defensively, that that works, I guess. So, I don't even know. Oi! Oi! Take a pill, guys. Children, what are you doing? Playing. Yeah, I'm pretty glad. I know they're just days and a calendar and all that, but I would definitely like to put the baggage of 2025 behind me. You know, bright new future kind of thing. Genuinely. Build something new. Because, oof. Check on that. Yeah, I'm going to have to tape that down. You can see it's really peeling up. I need to tape that down. It's my book donation box. I went ahead and did a tape cover on the carpet that I made. It's a little playmat kind of thing for the kid corner in the library. That's what I got going on so far. I've got more furniture on the way that'll help out with the look and such. I got the couch back there. Made that box table out of the bookcases. Ezra's taking a nap on the couch. And was deciding on who I wanted to make my librarian, so to speak. And I think I am going to go with, you can see her. She's from Doctor Who. It's Sister Haim, I think. Haim, H-A-M-E. Been a while since I've seen it. She was in like 2 or 3 episodes. But she's one of the Sisters of Plentitude. Basically like cat people, nuns, and nurses. I think the idea of her being a librarian would be fun. You call her Sister Anna, after the actress that played. There's a reason, you know. So she's going to be the librarian. I've got some furniture from Temu on the way that'll help dress up what I have in mind. And I've got, and again, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I've got some, and now, next, the lounge. Right now it's just kind of cluttered debris. I've got all kinds of figures in here. And some of the extra books that are going to be in the library once I get everything more squared away. Some extra lamps over there in the corner. But, I forget what I was going to say. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I've got some... Okay, you guys sleeping on stuff I really wish you weren't, but Jinx and Kaiser are camped out over there on some of my like bubble wrap and packing supplies. I'll be throwing away the top layer of that. I've got some LOL, OMG. I've always thought the dolls were ugly. So the idea that I actually have like sought out furniture from the line makes me just really, you know, the dolls are ugly, but that furniture is really workable. I don't think I'd ever wind up in that place, but I've got some really great chairs on the way that I think will work for the library. I keep seeing, oi, you two, man, you start playing rough and then everybody's screaming. They're labeled as a mansion chair, so I guess it was some kind of LOL mansion. And they have like a teal armchair. I think they're going to look great in the library, and I think the scale's about right. Because a lot of the LOL stuff... Oi! Can you knock it off there? Kids. I'm going to go make some coffee. Because I've got a couple, I think I showed you the other day, I've got a couple like stools from the LOL line, and they'll work pretty well for the 4-inch figures. And I'm wondering if the chairs are going to be good for the 4/6-inch scale. I don't know. And I know there's a big difference between the 112 and 118. But sometimes the difference isn't too big if you've got furniture that's like kind of walking the line, like about as big as it could be for the 4-inch, and maybe just slightly undersized for the 6-inch. You know what I mean? That Goldilocks in between kind of thing. I'm hoping. Because I don't have any of them in hand yet. Just the stools, not the chairs. Or the couches either. But they're on the way. So if I have made a horrible mistake in scale and sizing, and they will in fact not work, I will be reselling them. And I paid very little for them, so the bright side of all this is I know I can flip it and probably make a couple bucks. But I'm hoping I can use them. And I think I can. I think I can. We'll see when they get here. Because I've got a bunch of different, I got some singles on the way, a chair, a couch, 2 chairs, 2 couches, and with some other furniture that I'm just going to resell, So that will be a process, but that's okay. Piece by piece. And I've got some stuff from Temu coming in that should be here within the week. And we'll see what I can use and what I can't. And I did get my girl, some stuff from Temu also, that, because we actually spent, that was part of what we did the other day, was we just went through Temu together and we're like, ooh, that's pretty cool. Ooh, that's way wrong scale. That wouldn't work for either one of us, It's kind of going through stuff. Ooh, I'd like those. It's only 10 in a lot, though. So, should I get 2 lots? Or 3, maybe? Okay. And when you're talking about stuff it's $1.80. Okay, so if I get 3 lots of it, that's like in between $5 and $6. Okay. You know what I mean? That's not bank breaking, like, well, we'll have to skip a mortgage payment this month. And the electric might get turned off, but I could probably pencil that in. It's not. The children are a little old to sell into slavery, but I'm sure we've got some options. I'm an improv guy. What do you want? All right. But yeah, and I know there's some junk on Temu. I had already done some shopping before, a year before, 2 years before, whatnot, on Alibaba. And I came up with some really great stuff, and I came up with some absolute garbage. But so far on Temu, I haven't had any products come in that I've only gotten like 10 or 12 things at this point. But I haven't gotten anything in that I've gone, well, this was a waste of money. You know what I mean? It's all been, okay, that's it's either good or wow, that's really good. So I'm hoping that everything coming in is in that really good category. We've got some glass decanters, like little mini potion bottles and like alcohol bottles, perfume bottles, like a whole bunch of different colored glass ones and some resins, and got some neat stuff on the way. Yeah, the first time that I tried it, I mostly was doing furniture shopping, and I got some pretty decent stuff. Some stuff that I wouldn't say it's cheaply made. I would say it's like a step above dollar store kind of plastics and stuff. So, it's not high end, but I also paid, I'll give you an example. Because I know I've got one or two of them right here, I think. Yeah. So, these bookcases that I put together, they're about almost the Zuru quality of bookcases. A little better than a dollar store kind of build. But I think I paid like $1 each. I got 3 of these. My only complaint, and it's my problem, it's not their problem, is the ends are open. So I have to make sure that anything that I put on them isn't something that's going to lean or fall to the side, because whoop, right off, But like, exactly. Like, square boxed items, things would work fine on that. But if I'm trying to put books on there, unless they're bigger, they may just fall right out like dominoes. So, highest quality plastic? No. But I paid, actually I think those were 3 packs for $1.80. So I paid 60 cents each. It's not going to be safe to launch those into space, but that's not what they're designed for. And that would be more than 60 cents. So, so far I'm pretty satisfied with the products and the price. But that next, because we've done 3 orders so far. That's the first order. The second order and the third order apparently shipped out at the same time. We placed the orders like 2 days apart, right after Christmas. So I think the orders all kind of got pushed together, those were apparently shipped out on my birthday on the 29th, according to what I read. So, and they are coming from China. And they are pretty quick with their delivery in the grand cosmic scheme of things. So, might get them any day, frankly, now that I think about it. But I won't film the opening of, because my girl doesn't want to be on camera. But I'll show you my goodies, because it's for both of us, not just her. But I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. I'm gonna do a little eBay. Got some yogurt. Dishwasher has run, so I need to empty that, and I can put what's in the sink in there at least to prep. I'm still walking around in my OnlyFans outfit, but I've got a full dryer full of clothes. I mean, normally I'm walking around here like all day and even sleeping in, because of the situations here, sleeping fully clothed kind of thing. So it's very liberating to just be walking around in denim shorts and a tank top. That's right. Figure out bricks I want to move today. I mean, I got my list. That's not a problem. I got a list. There's a lot on that list. So I've got one of the Aldi clearance hams in the fridge that I'm going to probably bake up today. Defrosting. Be some good eating. Nice honey ham. Feed on that for a while. Good problem to have. Yeah, just as a tip, check your normal grocery stores, whatnot. A lot of time this time of year, because Thanksgiving, Christmas, they're frequently doing turkeys and hams and stuff like on clearance pricing, because it's the leftovers from the season, and it's been frozen this whole time, so it should be safe, fine, all that. It's a good time to grab an extra one and throw it in the freezer. You know, in that moment where you're like, groceries are going to be tight this week, throw the turkey in the oven. Yeah, it's middle of March, but who cares? You know, that'll feed you and yours for a few days. That'll help on the groceries. Just, you know, tip from Gen Xer. Alright. Hug your parents, hug your kids. Make it a great day.